your holiday season today. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that. So for those of you who are just tuning in and just coming back, you have reached Unity of Tacoma. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Lori Irwin Johnson, and I am the spiritual leader for today, and I use the pronouns she and her. So I would like to welcome you to the first Sunday of Advent. And so for those of you who are unfamiliar with Advent, Advent is a time where each Sunday we have a new focus. And we do that throughout the entire 4 Sundays before Christmas. And then there is there's a fifth topic, which is Christmas Day. And each Sunday in Advent, there is a candle that is lit. So today's candle, we have one candle lit today, and that's what we're going with today. And their theme for this week is hope and faith. So we're going to be talking about hope and faith, not as some vague concept or some ideas that we throw around whenever we say we have hope or faith. We're going to be really talking about how that idea of having faith and hope really ignites the courage within us and opens up an opportunity for us to move through this season of what traditionally used to be darkness. But the entire month of December will be about bringing the light. So I'm really excited about that. So let's go into our service. Before we get started, I would like to share the prayer for protection. I'm going to put it on the screen for those of you who don't know the words. And let's share it together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so let's take this time to go into prayer. Take a deep breath and allow ourselves to settle into this moment, knowing that we are here by divine appointment. We're taking this opportunity for self-care, to self-connect, to remember who we are, to get back on our soul's evolution, to that journey forward. As we get distracted by what's happening with the holidays, with all the things, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, these times of reflection, these times to get quiet and to slow down, are when we really touch the divine, where we're really there and able to see the hope and hold on to the faith that the light will always be there in the darkness. So it's with gratitude I say thank you for all of you who are here today, all of the beauty that we've experienced over this last couple of days with Thanksgiving. And thank you for moving forward with me into the light, despite the darkness that is happening around. So with gratitude, I say thank you again. And so it is. Amen. Let's go into our affirmation for today. Our affirmation for today. On this first Sunday of Advent, I affirm, my hope awakens divine potential. My faith brings it into form. My hope awakens divine potential, and my faith brings it into form. And so as we go into this service, I'd like to take just a moment to go into a contemplative space. So for wherever you are right now, get into a space. You can close your eyes if you'd like, and just listen for that still small voice within as I play some music to invite us into this new time of the holiday season. All right, now that we are all settled in and getting ready for our message, I'd like to, before we do that, I'd like to invite Victoria in for our announcements for today. And she can guide us into another space of advanced consciousness. Are you ready, Victoria?
Advanced consciousness.
That's a pretty big, tall order. There you go.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'll start off. Some of you who have been knowing me for a while know that since we came out of the pandemic, I have been intrigued about how our language is changing around us. And the latest uh, change is when you go into a store, and it could be any store, it could be a grocery store, department store, it could be the gas station, it could be a doctor's office. And when people look up and see you, they say, "Welcome in." And that's a new thing. It's not new words, but it's a new way of saying it. And it seems to be moving around in everywhere I look now. It surprised me so about a month ago when I heard it for the very first time. So at any rate, welcome in to you all into our Advent season. And I was looking at the book. Yes, the music was playing. This is our book. And we'll be using that during this Advent time, as Lori was telling you. It's called With Love at Christmas. And it's a whole guided imagery that we're going to be using for this Advent time. In addition, next Saturday, December 6th, will be Sandwich Saturday, when our Unity Outreach will be making our sack lunches for the homeless here in Tacoma. And we will be taking our sandwiches and all our donations to the Kingfisher tiny housing development of 100 tiny houses that have been installed at 84th and Hosmer. And we're so grateful to have a place to take all our things, and they are very appreciated. They had lots of other volunteer help during Thanksgiving, and I'm so glad we can do our part. On December 13th, we're going to be having an in-person event that if you are interested in knowing all the details on how to get there, etc., you can contact Lori at the website. But it's the 13th of December, Saturday, and it starts at 11 o'clock. And we're going to be doing a breakfast brunch and a celebration making art, all different kinds of art, especially making Christmas cards, homemade Christmas cards. It'll be so fun. And we love our person-to-person activities. Our online services make us able to reach people all over the country or the world if they so wanted to join us. We would welcome them in. Um, and but it's always nice to be able to give somebody a hug and look them in the eyes. So as we enter our Advent season, I welcome you in, and I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Victoria. I also want to add that we will be having our book study. The booklet that we have that you just showed, we will be having a book study starting tomorrow on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And so if you're interested in joining that to discuss the themes for the week, which is hope and faith for this week, you do not have to have the booklet if you do not have it or have not read it. You don't need it. The conversations that we have are really, really profound. And so I get something out of it, even when I'm not able to read for the week. So please do that. If you are interested in getting your own booklet, you can go to www.unity.org/en/advent to get your copy. You can either download a copy in a PDF format, or they will mail you a copy in the United States Postal Service, the old-fashioned snail mail. So they will send it to your door, and it usually takes a week or so. So no worries if you don't have it yet. Like I said, if you haven't read it, please join us anyway. Tomorrow, Mondays, we're going to be meeting for 3 Mondays to discuss the themes of the week. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate all the wonderful things that we have coming up here at Unity of Tacoma. We have so much going on. Even though we are a small group, we are mighty, and we get a lot done. So thank you so much. Thanks
I
for
also would like
yeah.
to tag on to that with the book club, if somebody's interested in coming and they don't have the book, it's all right. Lori very efficiently provides us with a link for the Zoom, and along with it, questions and answers that you get ahead of time and can ponder. And so you'll be ready no matter what, even if you just dive in. I almost said dive in naked, but I mean, if you just dive in without your book.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. We
Welcome.
have you no matter what. You show up the way that you need to, and we will help you get acclimated. So, and you can email me at lori@unityoftacoma.org if you have any questions or would like the Zoom link. So, all right. So let's go into our message. Our message today starts with a reading. We're going to be doing a reading from that booklet today, and I'm going to be doing it each Sunday. The author of today's reading is Reverend Maggie Alderman. She is the director of Unity Prayer Ministry at Silent Unity, and she's written all of the Sunday Advent essays that we're going to be talking about today. So thank you, Reverend Maggie. I know that she is busy holding her own service in the middle of the country right now. But I'm so glad that we are able to have her voice here today. So the reading goes. Part of what makes the Christmas season so magical is how we manage to light up the world, seemingly out of thin air. One moment, we're settling into the early, darker days of winter, and the next, lights begin to appear on homes and in public spaces, and inspiring awe and wonder across generations. While we may give little thought to the how of it all, most of us know from experience that it doesn't happen by accident. Behind the scenes is planning, coordination, and a collective effort to ensure the lights are up and shining brightly for all to enjoy. This act of bringing light into the darkened world moves us deeply. Light becomes more than a decoration. It becomes a symbol, a beacon of hope. It reminds us that we have enough inner resources to endure temporary darkness. We have the wisdom, imagination, and most important, the faith to move through the season that represents a new birth, an awakening or deepening of our Christ consciousness. Faith in particular plays an active role during Advent. Without it, we may lack the courage to embark on the journey of inner transformation that the season invites. Here we can take a literal page from the story of Jesus' birth. There is nothing in the narrative that suggests ease or certainty. Every character in the story steps into the unknown. What we do not know or understand, we often fear. And yet, whether it's an angel's message or the light of a star guiding the way, faith is the thread that holds the story together. Faith is the impulse to trust what we cannot see, what we do not yet understand, but somehow know is calling us forward. It invites us to be more than witnesses. It calls us to be, conduits for the light of the world. Perhaps that's why we, as light bringers, take such care and pride in lighting up our world each Christmas. The glow stirs cherished memories from the past while also serving as a present-day metaphor. A single light can transform darkness into clarity, fear into faith, the unknown into the familiar. We matter. The light we bring into the world, expressed in the way each of us is uniquely designed to do, matters. This Advent season, may we resist the temptation to shrink in the shadow of fear. Instead, let us follow the courage of Mary, Joseph, and the shepherds, and the wise men, who each responded to Spirit's call. Let us step forward in faith, trusting that the light we offer is exactly what the world needs now. What a beautiful reading to start us off for Advent. And there's lots of other beautiful readings in the booklet. And some of the people I do know personally. So I'm really excited to share those with you and over the next couple of weeks. And I think that you're really going to get a lot out of it. So please get your booklet at unity.org. All right. So we're going to be talking a little bit about hope and faith today. So I want to tell a story first, though. I want to tell a story about my Christmas lights. So as many of you know, I put my Christmas lights up 2 weeks ago. I was really excited. I was like, it was a beautiful day. I was like, I am going to get these up while it's nice outside and not super cold yet. So I was so excited. And I got those brand new Christmas lights. I ordered them, got them up. And they're LEDs, never had LED ones. I always had the incandescent ones, the ones you have to check every year and pull out bulbs to make sure that they're working. I didn't have to do that year. They just plugged right in and they worked. And I was so excited. So my husband and I went outside and it was a long string, one long string, 300 feet of Christmas lights. And I was so excited. So I got it all put up there. And it glowed really beautifully and it has different settings and it was just advanced. And I was just thrilled. So anyway, so we had went through all of that, got it up there, 2 nights, beautiful Christmas lights, plugged them in. And then the third night, I went to go plug them in and they didn't turn on. I was like, what is going on? My husband and I went through and checked all of the connection and made sure that everything was working on the end, with that plugged in. I checked it has a little remote. So I checked the remote to make sure it was working. Nothing would work. It just didn't work. And so I was like, oh, that's 300 feet of lights I'm going to have to pull back up and send back to the place I got them. And then I'm going to have to order some more and redo it all again. And I was like, but why? Why did this happen? Why? I was working perfectly those first 2 days. What happened? Well, that same day that I put up the Christmas lights outside with my husband, we had also decided to move the bird feeder, which had the soot, which was peanut butter soot for the seeds and the peanut butter, to feed the birds over the winter. So I decided to move it away from the fence. It was where the bulk of the Christmas lights were, and move it next to the house. And in that way, I could prevent the squirrels from taking down my Christmas lights. I was like, great. And it also prevent the squirrels from eating all the peanut butter because I wanted to make sure that the little birds had some peanut butter as well. So I hung it up next to the house and it was far enough away from the house, far enough away from the roof. And I was like, perfect. I outsmarted the squirrel. So day number 3, I turned on my Christmas lights. They didn't come on. And I was like, what is going on? So my husband and I said, okay, we'll just order new ones. We're going to pull up the other ones. And lo and behold, the Christmas lights were split. They were like sheared off. And I was like, what is going on? Also above the Christmas lights was the soot that was hanging down, that was being saved from the squirrels, had been eaten, completely gone. And so when I went out to check the Christmas lights again, I noticed that there was a squirrel hanging from that soot, hanging down from the roof. And I was like, how did you get up there? That is quite high. So how did you get up there? Come to find out that this squirrel spent 2 days trying to figure out how to get up there. And so what he did was he got on my front porch, which isn't very big, and it's not far off the ground. He would jump up, launch off the side of my house, and land on the hanging soot or the bird feeder that was there, and eat all the peanut butter. And he must have done this several times, because by the time I got to the Christmas lights, I noticed that he had sheared it off completely. That's why the Christmas lights weren't working. That they were sheared in half by those little claws that were jumping off the side of my house to get to the soot. So I solved the mystery. I figured out why the Christmas lights weren't working. I'm not sure if I'll get my money back because it wasn't the fault of, it wasn't default. It wasn't a faulty Christmas light. It was actually the squirrels that did it. And so gotta love the nature in my yard. But you know, this story was my hope that I could get these Christmas lights up, and my faith that all would go well, right? That everything would turn out perfectly. And it didn't. It didn't turn out perfectly. In fact, there was a big impediment called a squirrel. However, if you think about the squirrel's point of view, the squirrel had hope that he could get up there and get that bird food and the peanut butter. And all he had to do was to wait and figure it out. So over and over, he thought through his little brain, probably jumped up there many times and got up there and ate all of that peanut butter. And so he had faith in his ability to do what he needed to do. Hope that he would figure it out, faith that he had the ability to do that, and he was successful. So interestingly enough, there's two representations of hope and faith there. My hope and faith that didn't work out quite the way I wanted it to, and the squirrel's hope and faith that worked out exactly the way that he wanted it to. So there's often a misunderstanding about hope that people get stuck on. They think of hope as wishful thinking. See that I hope it all works out, or I hope things get better, or I hope that things get easier, or I hope the next time I put my Christmas lights up, the squirrels don't take them down. But in a spiritual language, especially here at Unity, hope is an active power. Hope is that loving nudge that we have that reminds us that God is moving through us, but we can't necessarily see the end. We can't perceive what's going to happen next. Hope is that first light that appears in the darkness. So you may be traversing or going some way. If you're a video game fan like myself, you know to look for that light. Because if you're moving through the game and it's really dark, you look for the light because that's where you need to go. So that hope that we carry with us is that light that we see, that light that comes in and says, oh, I see that there's a way. And then we dare to believe that there's something out there that's more than we can see. So during the season of Advent, the nights are longer and our surroundings get really dark really early in the day. Sometimes it doesn't get very light at all during the day. I noticed the other day it was just dark all day long. So we hang lights. We hang lights on the trees, and we hang lights from our houses and our windows. And those lights carry a deep message. They symbolize that even in the darkest moments, there is divine light, and it is still alive, and it's working through us each and every moment. And hope is often tiny. It's often a small little smidgen, and we always carry it with us. We just oftentimes don't see it. We don't notice it. Yet, that little teeny tiny seed of hope contains all the potential that we have to move anything, any mountains that we have in front of us, to move forward in any direction that we need to go. And Advent hope does not deny reality. So it's not like we're saying, oh, there isn't a huge mountain that needs to be moved, or there isn't this reality that we're dealing with, but it does defy it. Our hope says, I know that what the world is showing me now, but I trust that God is revealing what needs to be revealed within me. Now, this entire month is about the Advent story, the narrative that's in the Bible about Jesus's birth. And so when we think about the nativity story, we think about Mary on this day of hope. She's a young woman. She's humble, she's unassuming, she's living in a world that is in political turmoil. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you. And yet, she was chosen to bring the light into the world. The angel came to her and gave her a message that wasn't delivered to a priestess or a queen, but to someone who was ordinary, someone very much like us. So Mary's yes to what was going to happen to her, even though she didn't have any idea how it was going to happen, she didn't understand what was going to happen, she was very uncertain. She held on to her hope. And the hope created space for a miracle to happen. And so in your life right now, no matter where you are or what you're experiencing, the divine possibility is always there. It's just asking for you to provide a little bit of space for it. What could unfold in your life if you just gave that little teeny tiny bit of hope room to grow? And when we allow that hope to grow, then it opens the door for faith to walk in. Now, you think that faith and hope might be the same thing, but they're not. They're a little bit different. Faith is trust in action. Faith doesn't wait to see the whole plan. So if you've ever had some faith in something, so oftentimes you don't know what the end is going to be like. You just have faith that it's going to unfold the way it needs to. Faith that says, show me the next step, and I'll take it. Faith is what keeps the candle lit. Once hope lights it. Faith is what keeps it going. It's what pushes us forward. It allows us to see past the fear that we're holding on to, and it holds us back, that fear. And so faith allows us to say, I don't know how, but I know God is there for me, and I know I can take the right step. Mary had hope when she said yes. In the story, she and Joseph demonstrated faith with every step that they took. And even though they didn't know how it was going to unfold, they did it anyway, because they had faith in what was going to happen. The shepherds also, they heard the good news of what was going to happen, and then they had faith that they would find what they were looking for, that they would seek out the babe and they would find what they needed, and that faith pushed them or pulled them to their destination. And the wise men, too, in the story, they also followed the star, and they had faith that they would find what they were looking for at the end of their journey. So faith is what moves us beyond that longing, that hope, and into that truth that is divine within us each and every day. So we all face times in our lives where hope seems fragile. And our faith really seems like it's just not available to us. It's far away from our experience. Maybe we receive a diagnosis, maybe we experienced a loss this year, maybe there's a transition, a relationship that's breaking down, or just basically the stress of the holidays. Life asks us to hold hope amid all of the circumstances, especially those that don't feel hopeful. It's during those times that we feel like the world expects us to stay bright and cheerful because it's Christmas time. But our hearts may be struggling to find this light within. But here's the good news. And this is the whole point of the whole story in the nativity story, is you don't have to have a perfect faith to begin again. God doesn't require certainty. It requires only your willingness to say yes. Even a small bit of hope can light your next step. So Advent isn't just about remembering a sacred event that happened 2,000 years ago. Advent is recognizing that birth is happening within us right now, and it's happening each and every moment. Every time we believe something good is possible, we participate in the birth of Christ consciousness. Every time we choose love over fear, we say yes to our divine potential. every time we hold space for the brighter tomorrow in our lives, we help co-create that brighter tomorrow. Hope and faith are not decorations for the holiday season. They are spiritual tools that help us to build our lives every day. They turn our prayers into pathways, to turn our intentions into movement, and it makes things possible. And we have the possibility to create exactly what it is that we need in our lives right now. The beautiful lines from the reading that we read today that I read from the booklet remind us that Christmas lights don't magically appear. Like I was saying, my husband and I worked really hard to put out the Christmas lights, to have them pulled down by some ambitious squirrel. Someone intentionally places all those lights up bulb by bulb and has hope and faith in the ability for it to work out. Likewise, the light we bring into the world is not accidental. It requires our intention, our courage, and it requires our practice. Your light matters more than you realize. I want you to close your eyes and think about that. Your light matters more than you realize. There was someone in your life today who is relying on your hope, at least until they can rediscover their own. There's someone in your world who needs your faith to help them to believe in a better tomorrow. So you may not feel like you're a shining light. You may not even feel like you're much of a flicker. But that small glow that you do have, the one that sometimes is barely visible to you, can it really show someone that's in the dark where to go. A flicker when you are in the darkness is a precious sign that says there is still light here. I still have a place to go. So let's bring this closer to our personal selves. Think about a mountain you're facing right now, something that's big and seems unsurmountable. So maybe it's a habit you're wanting to break, or a relationship that you want to heal, or a dream that you've put off and you'd like to really get started on, or step toward growth that scares you. Or there's a prayer unanswered that you are waiting for, but it's only unanswered so far. It's hope that whispers, it is possible, and faith that answers, and we will get there. Our big piles, our mountains, our difficulties shift when our inner beliefs shift. When the mountains move, even if it's a little bit, sometimes we move. And sometimes the mountain becomes a staircase that leads to something that's transformative. That's something that we didn't have any idea that would open up to us. Faith doesn't demand that we be fearless on this journey. It simply asks us to walk forward and to love bigger than the fear that we have. If you've ever planted something, and I know because after the Christmas time, I'll be looking at those seeds catalogs again. If you've ever planted something, you know that they don't grow overnight. So you water and you wait and you trust, and then you celebrate even the smallest of signs, even that tiny little sprout that's just breaking through the surface. If we honored our spiritual growth in that same way, where we celebrate small wins and we acknowledge the tiny shifts in our perspectives, and we recognize that our efforts matter, we could really move the mountains in our lives. Hope that we carry honors the seeds. Faith honors the process of growing. It honors that we are both holy, we are needed, and also hope is always alive within you. and all you need to do is look. So as we continue with our Advent journey throughout this time in December, we are invited to stay awake to this emerging good in our lives, this thing, this spark that is in the darkness. We are reminded that God doesn't show up like a floodlight. Oftentimes it's missing. We think that God's not around, but there is a spark there. You need to pay attention. It's our attention that is needed. The guidance often comes a little tiny spark at a time. Just enough for you to take the next step, just enough for you to expand, and just enough for you to grow the roots that you need in order to sprout in a new direction, in a new blossom of experience. So the Advent story, the narrative of Jesus and how we're going to be discussing that, reminds us that miracles don't always arrive in this great, glorious thing. Sometimes they appear in a stable, wrapped in humility. What miracle is being born in you right now? Ask yourself that. What miracle is being born in you right now? It may look small, it may look humble, and it may be unexpected, but it's there. Do not dismiss what God is growing within you. Don't shrink in the light when you see it. Move forward and shine through it. You are here to brighten the world, and that is what this Advent season is about. So as you move through this week, I'd like you to consider a few things. So just take a mental note or write this down if you want. What is one courageous step that you can take towards your heart's longing this week? What is one thing that you can do to move past fear and become something that you didn't believe you could be? Where do you need to hold hope for yourself or for someone else? How can you practice faith when the path feels uncertain? And how can you allow your inner light to shine more fully, especially during this season of Advent, where many people are seeking the light and don't know where to look? So Advent then becomes a countdown to our spiritual rebirth. It's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to see hope. It's never too late to foster faith. You're never behind. You're never too small. Your miracle is waiting. Hope is alive. Faith is rising within you, and light is breaking through. God's not finished. God's just started. So make sure that you are open to that spark, that still spark, small voice, and to look for that light during this season of Advent. All right. Yes, I will make sure that you get the questions for the Unity Outreach too. Yes. All right, so let's move into our meditation. So please get into a comfortable position. This one's about 10 minutes long. Let's begin by settling into a comfortable position. Feel your feet on the ground or your body supported by the surface that you're on. Close your outer eyes if that feels comfortable, and allow your shoulders to soften. Let your breath gradually deepen. Inhale and release. Inhale and release. each breath drawing you further into peace. Take a moment to notice the light around you. Now imagine a soft glow at the center of your heart. A tiny spark, like a candle's flame. This is the presence of divine hope. See that spark grow brighter with each breath. Hope awakening. Hope expanding. Hope filling your entire being with possibility. Now gently place a hand over your heart and feel the warmth behind the palm of your hand. This warmth you feel is faith. Faith that moves mountains. Faith that trusts what cannot be seen. See the light within grow stronger, brighter, more radiant. This is the truth of who you are. Now imagine someone that you love, someone who needs encouragement or healing. See your inner light expanding to gently surround them, offering peace, love, and hope. Now imagine your light reaching our community, softening the hearts of everyone you see, restoring joy, and bringing comfort where it's needed most. See the entire world gently illuminated, one light joining another, until the earth glows with oneness and divine love. Now affirm silently or aloud, the light of God is alive in me. I am a vessel of hope. I walk forward in faith. I shine my light with courage and joy. Allow these words to settle into your soul. Another deep breath in and release. Another deep breath in and release. And as you begin to return to the consciousness of this present moment, know that the light you carry is never small, never weak, never insignificant. You are a bringer of hope. You are a carrier of faith. You are a radiant expression of God's light. One last deep breath in and release. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and bring your light into the world. And so it is. Amen. All right. And as we come out of that meditation, let's just say a blessing together. This Christmas, let your hope be bold. Let your faith be fierce. Let your light be unstoppable. You are a bringer of the light of Christ, and the world needs what you carry. And so it is. Amen. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thank you for joining us.